What's good, YouTube? It's your boy Stats with Evan, and the MLB trade deadline has come and passed, and there wasn't as much action as I thought there would be. I'm pretty sure a lot of MLB fans feel the same way. But out of the action that did take place today and the couple weeks before, here's 3 teams I think won the trade deadline, 3 teams I think lost it, and then some other teams that caught my eye. Let's get it popping. I'm going to start with my winners first, and my first winner is the Atlanta Braves. The Atlanta Braves needed bullpen help in the worst way, and man did they ever get it in the form of Chris Martin, Shane Green, and Mark Melancon. Atlanta brought most of the noise to what was otherwise a surprisingly quiet trade deadline day, and now with a 6.5 game lead in the NL East, a stacked lineup, and a revamped and all of a sudden scary looking bullpen, the Braves look primed and ready for a deep playoff run. My next winner is the Washington Nationals. Now before y'all claim bias because I do happen to be a Nationals fan, hear me out on this one. The Washington Nationals have a lot in common with the Braves. The team I just got done discussing, by the way. Namely that they're an NL East team with eyes toward the postseason, and yet they were in dire need of bullpen help. Well, Washington seemed to remedy that by springing for 3 relievers on deadline day. Daniel Johnson, Ronis Elias, and what might be the pettiest move of all time, acquiring Hunter Strickland. For those that aren't aware, Hunter Strickland was involved in a pretty big fight with Bryce Harper on Memorial Day in San Francisco a couple years back. Bryce Harper went to the division rival Phillies, and Hunter Strickland, well, with this trade, it all comes full circle. Now moving on, Washington managed to once again keep hold of their best prospect. Last season they were in a similar situation with Victor Robles, managed to keep him, and now he's a regular in the starting lineup. This time around, the young kid they managed to keep, what goes by the name of Carter Kieboom. With the relative inactivity of the Cubs and Cardinals and Phillies, the Nationals look to have at least established themselves at the forefront of the wild card race. And last but not least, my final winner is the Houston Astros. The Houston Astros fit into the winners category for a mix of the reasons why the Braves and Nationals are here. They brought the noise, especially at the end, and they established themselves as the frontrunner for the race for the #1 seed in the American League, which they currently hold right now, thanks to the inactivity of the Yankees, Twins, and the Indians. Starting the day by acquiring Martin Maldonado, sneaking in Joe Biagini, and closing the day with a bang by securing Zach Greinke, Houston is a force to be reckoned with in the American League, and October is in their sights. And now on the other side of the coin, here are my losers. First is the New York Yankees. Sure, the New York Yankees have a comfortable lead in the AL East. They're 7.5 games ahead of the next closest team, which would be Tampa, as of this video. However, a daunting reality faces the Bronx Bombers. They're pitching. Since the All-Star break, New York has a staff ERA of .560. Only Detroit, Texas, and Colorado are higher, by the way. And this has cost them their title of the best record in the American League, which they've held for a majority of the season, which has since been taken over by Houston. It's obvious they came into today needing help on the mound, but what did they do? Nothing. The Yankees have decided to stick with the pitchers they have, and this may cost them dearly. While New York may still hold on and win the East because it is a big lead that they have, they may not be rewarded with home field in the playoff series when the time comes. My next loser is the Boston Red Sox. Everything I just said about the Yankees in the last segment can also apply perfectly to their arch rivals, the Boston Red Sox. Except the Red Sox reality is even more grim. Unlike the Yankees, Boston does not currently have a playoff spot as of this video. They're 2 games behind Oakland for the last wildcard spot at the time I'm recording this. The Red Sox may have been the most desperate need of pitchers, but they didn't do much to address this. They picked up Andrew Cashner a couple weeks ago and then just kind of called it a day. It's going to be a scary next 2 months for the defending World Series champions, and I don't mean that in a good way. My final loser is the Philadelphia Phillies. The Philadelphia Phillies may be in the thick of the wild card race, but there's one big problem: the bullpen. Philadelphia's relievers boast an ERA of .475, which is among the bottom 10 in the big leagues. Their division rivals, the Nationals and the Braves, both had leaky bullpens going into today and this week, but neither one hesitated to address the issue, especially not today. The Phillies, on the other hand, just kind of didn't. Philly didn't make any trades for relievers before the 4 o'clock deadline. I get it if they trusted the players they signed in the offseason, if the bullpen wasn't also a problem for the Phillies last season as well. Things might be getting ugly in the next couple months in the city of brotherly love. Now I'm going to talk about some other teams that caught my eye. First is the Los Angeles Dodgers. The Los Angeles Dodgers had a quiet day today, but they may have been the only team in the major leagues that didn't really have to do anything. LA is running away with both the NL West and the #1 seed in the National League, so the focus today for the Dodgers wasn't really more so who they could get, more so along the lines of whether or not they could keep their big prospects, their top prospects, while they tried to get their big boys ready for a deep playoff run in October. All in all, it was a good day in LA. For my next segment, I'm going to talk about the NL Central just in general. The NL Central may be the closest division in baseball from top to bottom, which makes it all the more intriguing that nobody really made any big splashes today. The Cubs picked up Nicholas Castellanos from Detroit, and the Brewers added Drew Pomeranz in a trade that had Brewers fans thinking they got Madison Bumgarner. Yeah, Milwaukee, I'm sorry about that one. That wasn't, he shouldn't have pumped things like that. Anyway, other than that, no other notable trades to speak of from the NL Central. Chicago, St. Louis, and Milwaukee are more or less ending the season with the same squads they started with, which should make for a thrilling race to the finish in the Central Division. Up next, I'm going to talk about the San Francisco Giants. The San Francisco Giants' recent surge had the baseball world asking, are they still selling? What direction are the Giants trying to go in right now? Today, San Francisco gave us all an answer and standing pat with the group that they have, minus Drew Pomeranz and Mark Melancon. However, the #1 topic of the trade conversation over the past couple months, which is Madison Bumgarner, doesn't need to change his address. He's staying in San Francisco, which indicates that the Giants are going to ride the wave they're on right now and go for a playoff spot. Up next, the New York Mets. Okay, I waited long enough to say this. To the New York Mets. What are you doing? You traded for Marcus Stroman. I'm assuming to keep him away from Washington, Atlanta, and Philadelphia, but there's one problem with this logic. It only works when you can compete, which you cannot. Alright, the smart thing for the Mets to do in this situation was to blow up and start it over. Instead, they opted to stand pat, which may not be the best thing to do for a team in their position. They're towards the bottom of the National League, by the way. This may be jeopardizing their future. Basically, they're going full Knicks here. Never go full Knicks. One more thing to talk about before I get up out of here. I'm going to talk about Ohio baseball in general. That's the Cincinnati Reds and the Cleveland Indians.
Before he came out, watch this. He turns and fires it. Thankfully, he threw it against the board, so there was nobody in the seats there to get hit with it. But you don't do that when your manager's coming out. It's disrespectful. So Francona's going, what the heck was that? And Frog goes, my bad, Skip, I'm sorry. And he goes, go grab some pine. I'm going to see you in a little bit. And so he's in the principal's office right now.
Garrett's dugout. And now Garrett's on his way to the dugout, and here we go. Oh! Garrett goes in there punching. This is not a good scene at all.
So how do you think your team did at the trade deadline? Do you think they won the deadline or maybe not? Let me know in the comments, and until next time, I'm Stats with Evan, and oh, by the way, I got a video coming out tomorrow and another video coming out on Friday. But until tomorrow, I hope you guys have a 100% day. See y'all later.